What's up, Seekers? Welcome back to another 12 days of Christmas content marathon for you.
If this video looks familiar, it's because it is. 2 days after publishing this video, we received a cease and desist from Alexander Kraft.
Just to be clear, Alexander Kraft has nothing to do with this scam. His images and likeness were used by scammers with the goal to get Marianne to send money.
As you know, catfishing is somebody pretending to be somebody else online. And we all know that in these stories, there are always two victims. The person that's talking to the person online that's losing money, and also the person that has their images stolen. This case is no different.
If you're communicating with someone online through a dating profile or a social media app and they're asking you to send or receive money, trust your gut. It's most likely a scam. Let's get into it.
Wouldn't life be easier if this billionaire came along and took care of these problems for me?
This woman has fallen in love with a social media profile using Alexander Kraft's photos.
He looked very put together, well dressed. You could tell that he was wealthy.
This person claiming to be Alexander Kraft promised Marianne she would never have to work again.
I was having, some financial issues. He kind of made it sound like he was going to help me with that.
But when Marianne handed over her logins to this person, things got out of control.
Money started coming and going from so many different places that I couldn't keep track of it. I could see the money leaving my account. It was just like going.
I think it's really important to understand where this money went.
I'm curious, who is this?
Join us on another episode sponsored by socialcatfish.com. We'll dig up the truth about Marianne's internet relationship. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your engagement with our videos help us reach new audiences and can potentially stop other people from being scammed.
Hey guys, we just received an email from a person by the name of Marianne. She claims that she's been scammed for 3 years. Her email says, I was contacted 3 years ago on Plenty of Fish by someone claiming to be a French celebrity. I was convinced to allow him into my accounts when he offered to help me financially. I ended up losing tens of thousands of dollars, and he still contacts me claiming he invested my money for me and is trying to get it back. There's so much more to this story, but I thought it would be worth getting your help.
My name is Marianne. I'm 60 years old, and I live in the suburbs of Chicago. I've been a nurse for 40 years. I've done home health, hospice, worked in the emergency room, the operating room, just about everything in nursing. I was married for about 7 years. We got divorced when my son was 1. And today is my son's birthday. He's 31. So that tells you a little bit about my dating. It has been sparse. I had probably had maybe a handful of dates that I met on dating sites like, POF. And I met about 2 or 3 people and immediately realized that they were trying to scam me. Oh, I'm on an oil rig and I dropped my credit card in the ocean, kind of a thing. And then another guy supposedly was in the military in South Africa or something. And I don't know how I became so vulnerable that I met this last person. It became a 3-year odyssey.
After having several unsuccessful experiences on dating apps, Marianne's luck seemed to change when she was reached out to by a man going by the name of Benjamin.
I definitely noticed his profile on Plenty of Fish. And he reached out to me and was asking me questions about, where I live and who, what I'm interested in. And his profile said that he lived in Chicago in Lincoln Park. He had a lot of photos. He looked very put together, well dressed. You could tell that he was wealthy. He looked like he was probably in his 40s, very well groomed. Not what I would consider classically handsome, because I thought he looked a little bit weaselly to me. I don't know how to explain it. There would be pictures of him outdoors in a custom suit on the sidewalk in Paris, or he would be standing out by his, a very expensive car, that kind of stuff. Well, he told me that he was an entrepreneur and that he worked on various projects, a lot of investing. And he seemed like he was successful, like he knew how to, handle his money, and somebody who wouldn't, be depending on me for that. I did warm up to him and felt like we had a lot more in common than I originally thought. I mean, every morning, did you eat? What did you eat? How did you sleep? How are you? He really appreciated my intellect. The fact that I was working in hospice nursing at the time, he just thought that was just amazing. We sent selfies back and forth. He was always very complimentary, and saying like, "Oh, you're stunning," or "You're so beautiful." Things that every woman wants to hear. He was the one who said, was the first one to say, "I love you." And at one point I was calling him baby boy. I felt like I was in high school or something. Like I had that, the kind of butterflies. It was a little bit of a confidence builder, just having someone interested in me. And so he just pretty much knew everything there was to know about me. What my struggles were, with work. I was having, some financial issues. He kind of made it sound like he was going to help me with that.
Having been contacted by scammers in the past, Marianne was suspicious about Benjamin's intentions and decided to do a bit of digging herself.
I was like, this just doesn't add up to me. I said, I'm going to try to do this reverse image search. And it came up that it was this Alexander Kraft. It was clearly, this guy. And I started Googling. It was like this influencer in Monaco. He's the president of like Sotheby's, very, very wealthy. So we were talking on the phone, and I said, well, I got to tell you, I know that your name isn't Benjamin. He was like, well, what do you mean? And I explained to him, I did this reverse image search, and then it was kind of like, oh, okay, I had to admit, I'm Alexander Kraft.
Marianne was so confused when she found Alexander Kraft's Instagram profile. This account has close to 500,000 followers, and she found images on the Instagram she had never seen of Benjamin. He was claiming the account Marianne found was his business account, and he was using the name Benjamin to protect himself. At this point, Benjamin was now claiming to be Alexander, and he even sent proof to try to prove it.
I mean, he sent me a picture of his passport. That's proof that he is who he says he is. I went on Instagram, and I even communicated and said, hey, I'm communicating with someone who says they're you. And he said, not me, don't talk, don't send money. And I told this guy that, and he was like, well, of course that's, I have people who do all that for me. It's not me. I wasn't sure whether to believe him or not. He was kind of like, well, it's hard for someone like me to, meet people, because you couldn't be sure that anyone genuinely cared, liked him or cared about him. And so he went online, he claimed to, find just a genuine person that he had something in common with. And so from then on, he became Alexander Kraft. As much as there were times when I sort of let myself get caught up in the romance of it, there was always a part of me that was analyzing everything and holding back and thinking, this seems a little crazy, there was part of me that probably didn't want to know.
Marianne had her suspicions, but the fantasy of being in a relationship with such a handsome and accomplished man was what blocked all of the red flags. This person was sending images of him traveling the world and wearing designer clothes. He promised to change her life. All she needed to do was give him access to her finances.
Let me just help you out with your car payment and your mortgage. It started with that. And I felt like, wow, like he's really like worried about taking care of me, because everything was, I'm going to take care of you forever, So I was like, okay. I allowed him into my checking account, my savings account, my credit card accounts. I gave him like my passwords and stuff. He was, because he was going to pay off my credit cards. And then he was like, I can help you do better with your investments. Let me look in your, Schwab account. And I'm thinking, oh, this is fine, because he's paying for these other things. Initially, it seemed like it was paid. And then next thing I know, I didn't realize he had taken money out of my out of my Schwab account and took $50,000 out of there. He started moving money around. Money started coming and going from so many different places that I couldn't keep track of it. And like there was money going to it, like the name of a guy I've never heard of. There was Robinhood money going into something called Robinhood Acorns. There was another 20,000 that was mailed to me. I don't know why he had it sent to me. It was like such a tangled web that by the time he started taking all this money back out of everything, I ended up where I didn't have any money in my checking, my savings. But I would get to the point where I was having trouble buying groceries.
This person behind this Alexander Kraft profile has their hands in all of Marianne's accounts. The promises of helping her financially has led to mysterious funds going in and out of her accounts with hardly any left for Marianne to live off of.
I was like, okay, I'm going to talk to him. And I'd be like, where is my effing money, And he's like, I invested it for you. This is the whole thing now. He said, you said that you wanted me to help you with your investments. So I put it in this crypto account, but it had a time frame on it. You can't touch the money until 2026. And it's this website called Grand Elite. That's where my money is now. It was all told probably about 100,000, and now it's worth like 300,000. To take it out prematurely, I had to pay a fine. I paid another $8,000 for that, but that wasn't enough. Now it's $3,300. Over the past, I guess about 3.5 years is probably what it is. I've given him, or he has taken, over $100,000. I ended up taking out a home equity line of credit to save myself because, I had all this credit. He left me with all this credit card debt. I was behind on my mortgage and my car payments, and I changed bank accounts. I changed everything. Before I closed the account, I could see the money leaving my account. It was just like going. He was taking it as fast as my direct deposits were putting it in.
Alexander had left Marianne's accounts empty and her credit cards in debt. The person behind this profile has left Marianne's accounts empty and her credit cards maxed. Yet, she still holds out hope that this person could still be the successful businessman they claim to be.
For the first time, I think ever, I felt like somebody was going to take care of me. I had been caring and compassionate and supportive and helping everybody else. But this time, it was somebody who was going to support me. And as I've thought all along, if it's a real person, why wouldn't they just pay me back? It's like, I know he's still out there. I just am curious, like, who is this?
Alright, Seekers, we knew we had to act fast to ensure Marianne didn't lose any more of her funds. The research team had a ton to go over, so they got to work.
So, we have a lot to work with, like 3 years of stuff, right?
Well, he sent a website, Grand Elite website, where he claims that he's been investing her money. The support team was reaching out to Marianne via email.
This is crazy because we have Grand Elite Trade, we have Guarantee Bank. This person's building these websites to create this story. We have to dig into them, but they're using it to leverage her.
We also have the 3 crypto receipts. If we add up every single one of these receipts, it's looking like she had transferred about $24,000.
Oh, wow.
Those were the only receipts she shared with us.
How else was she sending money? I saw there were gift cards.
There's a lot of gift cards. And then also he had direct access to her retirement funds and her checking savings accounts. So he was in there moving money back and forth.
I think it's really important to understand where this money went.
She was requested to send funds to. There's an address in Massachusetts.
But then there's this other guy in this other message that she's been asked to send money to, and there's an address in Missouri. We have to reach out to these people and warn them.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot to do here. Sheridan, if you want to look into the websites, you want to check history for that, who is, and then also see if we can try to get it taken down too, if it is.
Yeah, let's do it.
And then we have the passport, the IDs, if you want to look into those. And then we have the people that are moving the money or that are accepting the money, right? So let's contact them. Let's figure out why that they're accepting money from Marianne. So we have a game plan. We only have, I mean, realistically, we have 4 days to execute, you know, because we don't have a lot of time for this. So let's get to it.
Yeah,
All
we
right,
got
sounds
this.
good.
Let's do it.
Because we do these cases week to week, we didn't have much time. Brienne got straight to work to try and validate these 2 websites Alexander had Marianne investing in.
So we're looking at 2 websites for Marianne. We have the Guarantee Enterprise Banking site. Let's see if we can take a look here at the address listed. Just do a quick Google Maps search of this address here. So we're seeing that the map has no point of location because this address does not exist. Okay, so for the Guarantee Enterprise Bank, it looks like, wow, it looks like it was created last year in June of 2023. So this is a fairly new banking site. Maybe there's a link here for Twitter, just goes right back to the Contact Us page. Yeah, it's safe to say that this banking site is extremely suspicious. Let's look at the Grand Elite trading site. All right, so let's take a look here. This trading site looks legit as well. They have different plans that you can sign up for. Let's go to the Get Started page. Looks like I can sign up for an account here. Let's just check the registration on this website. Okay, so it looks like this Grand Elite trading website was created back in October 18 of 2022. There's no registered owners stated. So I'm not seeing anything right off the bat, but it does look a little fishy. I noticed that when I tried to contact support, it just led me back to the login page. All right, let's check out the address for this. So this is in the UK. And it looks like it's supposed to be positioned in between one of these offices. But I only see clothing store, Subway, BFC Exchange. I don't see anything here under Grand Elite Trading. So that's very, very suspicious. So the only last thing to do here to validate either one of these websites is to go to the Wayback Machine and just confirm what these websites look like back in 2023 and 2022.
And last but not least, Brienne sent over an IP tracker to try and confirm the location of this Alexander profile.
So I just found a TikTok of Alexander Kraft, and I'm going to create a TikTok tracker link and just make it super vague and just say, you lied. We have the tracker link is created. We just need to log in to Marianne's Gmail. So we're going to send him a message. It's going to say, you lied to me, with the link. And we'll see if he clicks it.
Before we sat down with Marianne about the team's findings, David felt there was more to be uncovered about these mysterious sites.
I want to show you what else I found because I found some like really interesting stuff. Grand Elite Trade, not surprised, our browser extension said, hey, look, beware. This is, you know, too good to be true. So, you know, archive.org, which looks at like the history of a website, all the changes that happened. It was built in 2022, was the first version. What I decided to do is I went to a tool called Ahrefs. So Ahrefs, what it does, it looks at any website that links to your website or you linking to other websites. So I go there, I put in Grand Elite, I found this. So it's a website called EcoTrade Capital. And I'm like, that's weird. So I started like looking into this website. The website is no longer up, but then I plugged EcoTrade Capital into archive.org. And it's this like scammy looking website that is like an investment site.
It's very basic. There's no information. There's very little text.
I go to the bottom and it says designed by. Do you see that?
I do, yes.
I open that up and then I come to this website called eNest Info Solutions. I go there, it's a web design company. So somebody at some point like had this company design this eco site that either was sold off to Elite Trading or Elite Trading ripped off the site. So I went through here, I didn't see any contact info other than a number below, which we can try calling.
Okay.
I just found this stuff out, so I haven't had enough time to actually dig in.
But there's his LinkedIn.
Oh, that's him right there. Roshan. Let's send this guy a message. Let's see if he knows anything about this website. This is a great lead because this is somebody we know is connected to Elite Trading.
Yep.
He for sure built that eco trade website. Hopefully he messages back and we can figure out what's going on.
I'll let you know if he does.
All right, sounds good.
The team felt good about all the findings and even had a detective in Nigeria look into the crypto Marianne sent. It was time to sit down to show her everything that we had found.
I'm David McClellan. I'm the founder of Social Catfish. And then Brianne's my wife. You've met Brianne and talked to her many times.
Yeah, and I have watched the YouTube videos, so I've seen you on there.
Well, it's really nice to meet you. We have a decent amount of stuff to go over.
Really? Wow. Surprise.
So, Marianne, we have a good understanding of your case, and I know you've run through the list of money that you had sent on behalf of Alexander and even the things you've sold.
My mother had passed away, and I had a lot of her jewelry. I somehow was convinced that if I went to pawned it, I'd have the money soon to get it back. Like it was temporarily going to be there, and that never happened. And so,
how did he convince you? I mean, did you say, I don't have any more money, I just have my mom's jewelry? And he's like,
yeah, I wish I could remember exactly how it happened, because it just, to me, it seemed right now, it just seems so absolutely ridiculous. I mean, these are pieces of jewelry that I remember my mother having when I was a kid, and I still have some of it, but not those most valuable pieces.
So our goal today is kind of unlock everything behind these profiles that you've been talking to, kind of give you that clarity. The first thing that we're going to go through is the passport that this person sent you. So Brianne's going to cover that.
Okay.
So we found some inconsistencies within the passport. We found that the font was different throughout the passport. So I ran a reverse image search on the signature and I found a match. And so what he did was he took a signature of Alexander and photoshopped it on top of this passport.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that we were able to run a reverse image search and find the signature that was placed on this passport, I mean, that just debunks the passport altogether.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing I want to run into is the website. This person that you were talking to had you invest in this website, and then in order to get your money back, you had to pay this fine. We know this website's 100% fake. I'm going to let Brianne run through the website, and then we did some of our own digging, and we actually found out who built the website.
Wow.
What we found was that this website was actually registered last year in June. This is a fairly new banking website. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to invest my money in a bank that was just created last year. So that rose a red flag. And then also the address listed on the website was invalid. It didn't lead anywhere. The phone number was invalid. If you try to call the phone number.
I was convinced it was fake. And I told him it was fake. Yeah.
So Marianne, if you were convinced that it was fake, why did you keep giving money?
I had no idea where the money was going. But that was his way of trying to get back in my good graces, to say, oh, but Marianne, I put all the money in here in this account for you, and look how much it's grown. So that was when I sent money to some guy in Ohio or whatever the hell it was.
So he sent you the Grand Elite site, and then you had sent him the money?
Mm-hmm. And there was even like this website with testimonials from people about how they couldn't believe how much money they had made and with their investment. I mean, it was pretty elaborate.
I want to agree with you. The fact that you just said it's pretty elaborate, when me and David both looked at both of the websites, it's probably the most elaborate websites we had ever seen. I mean, the banking site being a fake site, it looks pretty legit.
Well, it actually is. So we looked this site up What we did is we dropped this site into a few tools. And so we always look at like when the website was created. We look at the code on like how the website was built. There were links in the code to a website called Eco Trade Capital. So Eco Trade Capital is no longer a valid website, but it was built like many, many years ago. Through that website, we were actually able to find a guy who actually built that website. And so, thinking that he might be involved, we reached out. And what had actually happened is the scammer at some point had come across this website. They ripped off the website, basically duplicated it on Grand Elite. That's why it looks like somewhat legit, and then changed out the logos. That's it. And then they used it to start scamming people. And so that's essentially the history behind this website.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just made no sense. It was nonsense. Yeah.
What changed? Where like all of a sudden it's nonsense now, or did you just start seeing the signs? Or
because I educated myself about I started watching a lot of your videos, and I was doing a lot of research online.
So wait, you're saying that watching our videos, educating yourself that way,
I started seeing common themes.
So we help people out. People always comment. They're like, no, the videos won't stop people from being scammed. It stops people from being scammed.
It was good to see that Marianne was putting the puzzle pieces together, but we had more to go over. These last pieces of information was the nail in the coffin. We were able to figure out where this person behind this Alexander profile was located and where all of Marianne's money actually went.
So let's go over blockchain capital investments with Mr. Sean.
Mm-hmm.
You sent money to 2 different people. You sent over their contact information. We called Tanya. She didn't answer. We called Sean. Hello, may I speak to Sean? I am representing a woman by the name of Marianne. Do you know Marianne? Okay. She was prompted by a man by the name of Alexander to wire transfer you in the amount of, I believe there's 2 transfers, one of them being $5,695. She has access to your address because the person she's talking to gave her your address and your information. And then the address 80 Elizabeth Drive, Ludlow, Massachusetts. Wow. And Sean was not happy. He was very defensive, upset that I called him. He said he was not a part of any of this. He never received any money from you. He doesn't know who you are. He also said that I have the wrong Sean. And then I asked, but are they all living at XX address? And then he hung up on me.
Wow.
I just want you to know also, I did follow up with a text message letting him know I want to help him out. If he wouldn't mind reaching out to us and just confirming what his place is in all of this.
Right. Some of those people are victims too. Yeah.
We know where this person is for sure. Brianne.
Well, did he click on the thing?
He clicked on
it. So you gave us access to your email, and I just dropped in a quick little chat, a link, a TikTok link in there, and he clicked it right away. And so we were able to confirm that he is from Lagos, Nigeria.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I would, every time I would talk to him, I'd be like, what's it like in Lagos today?
He clicked on it not once, not twice, but 3 times. So we know for sure he's in Lagos.
We actually worked with a detective from Nigeria specifically, and he has access to your cryptograph.
When we pulled the transactions, we were able to actually pull a lot of different amounts of money that was deposited, not just yours. So there was $458,000 that was deposited. There was $10,000, $38,000, $15,000, another 15, another 10. And so we were able to trace those actually to exchanges. But unfortunately, they went to a lot of different exchanges. They went to Binance, KuCoin, Remitano, and then Naira X, which Naira X is actually like an exchange that's in
Nigeria.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But this person, whoever got this money from you, they actually stole significantly larger amounts of money from other people. And so, I mean, we're talking well over $500,000, you know, almost about $600,000.
Wow. Just so sad.
After all that this person has put you through, why did you continue staying in contact with them? Why do you think?
I was very anxious. I was losing weight. I knew it wasn't like, this was not good for me. I probably lost like 15 pounds, but I also felt like I was having a little bit of financial trouble at that point. My dog had bitten someone. Then he came along and he was like, I can help you with that.
And so you're like, I mean, you're a nurse, so like your whole life you're taking care of other people. Now you have, for the first time in your life, somebody's coming to you like, don't worry, I got it. I'm gonna help you out.
It was like, yeah, like, don't think another thing of it. Let me pay your bills. And it was like, oh, okay. And he did start paying bills. You get caught up in it, and there's part of you that wants to believe it, because wouldn't life be easier if this billionaire came along and took care of these problems for me?
So next steps for us, we have these two websites. One of them has actually been up for a few years. So what we're going to do is we're going to report them and then work to get the websites actually taken down, so they can't use them to scam anybody else anymore. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to file that, and then we'll work with you to get a police report filed, you know, for everything that happened.
Thank you for, you know, all the work that went into it. I really, you know, I had to really do some soul searching. Like, why do I want to know this? Because I mean, I kind of knew, but I'm tired of being ashamed of myself.
Yeah.
And just having the truth really does set you free.
We're glad we were able to help you out. We'll work with you to get the additional information filed with law enforcement. And if you need anything at any time, Marianne, you can reach out to Brianne, myself, or the rest of the team, okay?
Well, thank you. You got to the bottom of it. Yeah.
Marianne intends to fully block the fraudulent Alexander Kraft profile. After considerable effort, David was able to successfully have the website removed from the internet. Marianne also vows to never send money to anyone she hasn't met in person, especially online. With all of the information the research team has gathered, Marianne can now submit a police report to law enforcement for further investigation. If you have been involved in a romance scam, don't forget to report it. It helps get the word out and potentially stops other people from being scammed. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, all of our new videos go out every Wednesday. If you like this video, subscribe. And if you want to see more, you should probably click one of these two videos.